What's up? Fresh off the grill, checking in. It's gonna be a little bit different than my other videos. Recently, I'm gonna go back to list format. Right to the point. This is 7 lifts that I think you need to know if you're gonna start working out. Especially for men. This is, I think, the 7 most important lifts that if you're gonna go to the gym, I think everything should be centered around these. If you're gonna look for strength, athleticism, gains, bro. I don't know what the goal is, but I think these are the most important lifts that you should focus on. Obviously within reason of safety, injuries, things like that. So, number one, and this is again something I learned from my own strength trainer, is going to be front squats. I think it's by far the most important movement that you can learn for overall strength and athleticism, muscle, whatever. Not to say that back squat's not better or more important, but I believe that the front squat is the most important athletic movement that you can learn how to do, because you need to learn how to balance, stabilize a movement, and do the hardest movement to, I think, most people's opinion. Not just squat, but you need to also stabilize the movement strictly with your core and balance the weight. And it's very difficult to learn how to balance the weight on your shoulders. But again, this movement, if you have a shoulder injury, if you don't squat, if your neck, anything with your neck or breathing, proceed with caution, because the weight can affect your neck and your shoulder. And sometimes I've hurt my shoulder a little bit doing it with Slavic form, which is unexcusable the amount of time I've been doing it. Yeah, also make sure when you squat, I mean, you have to, you know the drill. Whatever length apart your feet are, is gonna, the closer together is gonna be more quad focus. Farther apart is gonna be more glute, hamstring, and feet. I always point my feet forward for my knees, but feel free to double check me on that. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not Jeff Cavalier. I'm not trying to get anybody hurt out here. Going forward off that, I say number two is, I'm gonna say is bench press. I wanted to say something else, but I'll get to it next. Bench, obviously good form is a super important movement that really incorporates everything. I remember I every time, I haven't experienced this much in the past, but now that I've really taken the time and really looked into my form with benching, it's made a humongous improvement in my strength and athleticism, and I just see the carryover in other things I do throughout the day. Think bench is just super important movement that you have to really incorporate if you're trying to be a good athlete, trying to be strong, trying to be jacked, whatever you're trying to be. Bench got to be number two in my opinion. Number three gonna be the deadlift. Reason I put this third is because I don't want to do two leg things back to back, or back. I mean, a lot of people disagree. It depends on the what type of deadlift you do, but if you're picking up something off the floor, your legs are going to be involved one way or another. I don't care if you're stiff leg, whatever. It's going to involve a lot of leg. So that is in my opinion the also right in hand with front squat. Definitely need to master that. If your gym doesn't have it available, if you have a back injury, leg injury, any injuries, I mean, deadlifting, I'm not recommending go heavy. It's very, very easy to get injured deadlifting, especially if you don't have good form, or you don't have a good coach showing you how to do it, or a good trainer that showed you proper form. Or you want to use a belt. Same goes for squatting and front squats. Definitely could be a lot of injury from that, but if you can do it safely and you have somebody that will show you how to do it properly, it's definitely critical movement. Number four, going to shift away from the compounds here a little bit. I'm going to say lat raises has got to be number four. Lat raises, if you don't do them, it's not necessarily a compound movement, but it is. It's got to be a staple in any plan. That's the muscle that it works is the rear delt, and that's a very difficult movement to hit, especially with every. I'm sorry, it's a definite hard muscle to hit, and especially with even with the compounds, it's kind of like far away from your body, but having that strength in that part of your shoulder is gonna really carry over into everything. It's gonna make you look. I mean, number one, if you're training for athleticism or for sports or for strength or for whatever the reason, even if you're just like civil service, construction, somebody that just wants to get healthier, anybody can benefit from this. I mean, it's gonna really just it's gonna make that part of your body strong, and it's gonna carry over. And it's a lot more important to be strong in that area than you think. Like to whatever thing that you do during the day. And in my opinion, it's relatively safe. Obviously be careful, don't swing the weight, and just watch your shoulders. If you tweak your shoulder a little bit, just be careful. Um, yeah, so lat raises are going to be number 4 in my opinion for sure. To keep going off that, I'm gonna piggyback onto another not compound movement because I think all the compounds are important, all the compound movements that you can think of, the major ones. But I think that I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't touch on other things. I'm gonna say skull crushers for triceps are gonna be number 5. Reason B is I believe it's the best way to hit the triceps. It's the most strict movement. It puts a load on the triceps alone. Please do not take this movement lightly. It is not safe if you swing the weight. It's coming right to your nose, right to your face. You do not want to get injured doing this. Make sure you point your elbows forward, your wrists. Just make sure you pick a weight if you do choose to do this movement. Heave this warning. Pick a weight you can control, because the last thing you want is a weight falling on your face in an unsafe situation like this. Okay, number 6 going to be bicep curl. I'm going to say incline dumbbell specifically. There's a lot of forms of the bicep curl, but I think this is most important is incline dumbbell, because I just believe it's the most challenging. I think it's the hardest thing to kind of cheat if you use good form. Standing curls are great, straight bar, easy bar, outside, inside. It's all great, but I think incline dumbbell puts you in the most disadvantageous position to kind of handle the weight, and I think you really need it. Really will test you and put a good load on your biceps. So you do it properly. Obviously, again, safely. Don't swing the weight. Don't go back too much. Hyperextend your elbow, anything like that, and yeah, that's bicep curl number 6. Number 7. I'm going to have to do a tie, and I know you guys probably all hate when lists have ties, whatever, if it's top 7 and there's 8. But I couldn't really decide on this one, so I'm going to say dips and overhead press are going to be number 7 tied. And the reason I put them this far back is because they are, I don't believe they're necessary to put into whatever plan that you have or whatever your goals are. I don't think they're crucial, but they are extremely effective. Weighted dips, incredibly good at hitting the muscles that are harder to hit in your chest, and overhead press is incredibly challenging movement that, like the front squat, makes you really have to challenge yourself to stabilize the weight with your core. It's very, very athletic, very not easy. You can't just cheat on overhead press. I mean, if you do, it's a completely different movement than you're doing a CrossFit, a push press. So if you swing your weight a little bit, like strict overhead press is very, very pivotal, and carry over to a lot of things, a lot of sports, a lot of activities, a lot of work. Having strong shoulders, metaphorically and literally having strong shoulders is critical, in my opinion, if you're gonna start lifting weights. Obviously, these two, the caveat with them, aside from them not being absolutely critical like the other 7, you could even say they're more important than the last 3 on the list, but I'm trying to incorporate something for every kind of everywhere. So, except I didn't list really too much with the with like the calves or the core. Like obviously those are going to be important, like sit-ups and calf raises. You got to hit those. But going off that, very easy to kind of hurt your shoulder with weighted dips, especially if you're not doing a weight you can control. Same thing with overhead press. It's a little bit rough on the joints, a little hard on the shoulder. Lifting weight over your head is difficult. Not like that all these things aren't, but controlling weight over your head far away from your body in that disadvantageous of a position is a little bit, not as safe in my opinion as the other movements. So I think bench is pretty safe if you have a spot or you use a Smith machine. Obviously don't bench without a spot. Don't squat without a spot, unless you're absolutely been lifting for years and sure that you can handle the weight, because that is very dangerous, especially benching without a spot. But make a note of that. Do not bench without a spot. Do not squat. Deadlift, I mean, I guess you don't really need a spot, but I'm not really sure how to spot anyone on deadlift. I've been lifting weights for over 10 years. I don't know how to spot someone on deadlift. If you can, I guess you can help them get it up, but it's if you just drop the weight, as long as you don't drop it on your foot. The rest, skull crushers, you're not going to be really going heavy on that. If you get to the point, you can toss it off to the side. Just don't hit anyone or break your stuff. I broke my phone in the gym doing decline dumbbell press. I dropped a dumbbell on my phone somehow. Learned that lesson the hard way. So, the biggest thing here is be safe. Make sure you have a good coach, trainer, friend, and anybody to show you how to do these movements safely. Don't ever do anything without a spot or with injury. With any injury that's going to be activated, just steer clear of this. It's not worth it. There's other things you could find. And yeah, going off that, I'm going to wrap the video up here. If you have any questions, statements, disagree with me, let me know down below. And thanks for watching.